Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I hope you're having a fantastic day. In today's video, I want to share another in-depth perfume review, and the scent we're going to be discussing is Tiramisu Caramel from Zimaya. Now, I was initially a little nervous about this particular perfume because when it comes to caramel in both personal fragrance and even in home fragrance, I tend to be really particular. To my nose, caramel can often come across as extremely cloying and just overly sweet. And I feel like a lot of times it kind of takes over the entire fragrance, and I'm just not here for that personally. I know that there's a lot of people out there who love a heavy caramel note, but it just gets to be a little too much for me. So I was nervous, but looking at the other fragrance notes and kind of reading through the fragrance story, I felt a little bit more reassured that there was some potential for this to be a very enjoyable, very delicious, gourmand fragrance. So we're gonna discuss it today. Spoiler alert, you guys, this fragrance is so delicious. It smells so good. So I'm really excited to share it with you. If you are not familiar with Zimaya, they are an Arabian or Arabic perfume company, and they have a lot of really great gourmands on their website. I've reviewed a few fragrances from them now. They were actually kind enough to give me a discount code that I could pass along to you guys. So I will put a link to where you can purchase this fragrance or any of the other fragrances from Zimaya and save a little bit of money with my discount code. Put that information in the description box, so feel free to check that out if you are interested. But if you have never watched an in-depth perfume review here on my channel, I like to read through the fragrance story. I like to read through the fragrance notes. I like to tell you what I actually smell once I apply the fragrance to my skin. We will also, of course, talk about the overall projection and lasting power of the fragrance as well. So I'm excited to share this one with you because if you're a gourmand lover, and I know a lot of you are, I think you're probably going to want to check this one out. So let's go ahead and dig into Tiramisu Caramel. Before we actually talk about the perfume, I want to just take a second and show you guys the box that the perfume arrived in. I am a huge sucker for details and just the presentation of things. I'm a florist in my everyday life. I'm a special event florist. So I am very aware of just tiny details. My work gets critiqued by a lot of different people, so I am someone who notices small details. This isn't really a small detail here, and it's really not necessarily the most important part of the fragrance, but once again, I just want to stress the quality that you are getting for the price point with Zimaya. These fragrances are so beautifully presented. They just, like, you almost don't even have to wrap this box. Just put like a ribbon around it and present it like that, and it would be such a beautiful way to give someone a gift. But take a look at this box here. First of all, perfect shade of blush pink. This little detail here on the side, again, this is that little detail that probably not a lot of people would notice, but I sure did. So there's this little cutout here that allows you to push the box out. So the fragrance obviously sits in here. The box is textured. You've got this really nice like velvety lining in here. Again, it's not necessarily the most important aspect, but once again, you are getting this fragrance in this box with this beautiful, heavy, weighty bottle for under $50. It's crazy to me that they are able to sell these fragrances at this price point with this much thought and attention to detail just outside of the performance of the actual fragrance. So yeah, sorry, I had to mention that because I think this particular box is, I don't know, it speaks to my girly self. I'm gonna have a hard time recycling that, but yeah, I'm kind of tempted to like put it in the back here. It's just so pretty. But anyway, if you are looking for a special gift for someone, I just think the presentation is absolutely beautiful. But let's go ahead and take a look at the bottle. So this bottle here it's very heavy, but it's definitely like a plastic, like acrylic-like feel, but it has some weight to it. The lid is magnetic, which is fantastic. The atomizer is fabulous. You'll see it in action here in a second. So yeah, the overall presentation of this is so lovely. But let's go ahead and get started by reading through the fragrance story and the scent notes. And then I'm gonna tell you what this actually smells like on my skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the website here. So their scent story reads, a beautifully crafted scent that embodies the essence of serene luxury. Its unique blend of caramel, sweet vanilla, and soft musk create a comforting and intimate fragrance experience that is both soothing and captivating. Perfect for everyday wear, this fragrance can be enjoyed during any season. Its gentle and versatile character makes it suitable for both casual and formal settings, offering a sense of ease and sophistication. The top note, and there is only one, is caramel. That's the part that made me kind of nervous at first. The mid notes are honey, wood, and coumarin. And at the base, we have vanilla bean extract, whiskey accord, which I thought could be really interesting, and musk. So let's go ahead and take a look at the atomizer, and then I'm gonna tell you what this smells like on my skin. Do you see that nice, beautiful, even distribution of the fragrance? Huh, okay. Definitely, listen, this is very sweet. This is a very sweet fragrance right off the bat. I don't think it's cloying. Again, I'm sensitive to cloying fragrances, but this is kind of the perfect level of sweetness. Does the caramel hit you right away? Yes, it does. But for some reason, it's not as aggressive as other caramel fragrances have been in the past that I have kind of tried to get into. This is a very soft approach when it comes to caramel. I definitely think it has that honey note. I feel like the honey kind of comes in almost immediately after the caramel, almost like it is a top note. And honey, again, is usually very, very sweet. I really genuinely expected this to be, if not totally cloying, like just extremely cloying, and it is not. It's really nicely balanced by the wood note. I feel like that woody note kind of tones down a little bit of that sweetness. The woodiness that I think I'm getting here is more along the lines of a sandalwood. It's not anything like a mahogany. It's not really heavy or oppressive. It's softer, but it definitely kind of tones things down just a little bit. Now, coumarin is actually a seed from the tonka tree. And so tonka, to my nose, kind of comes across as a little bit of an unsweetened, slightly earthy vanilla type of note. So again, I think having the tonka in here tones down the sweetness from the honey and the caramel and just makes both of those notes a lot more palatable. And as this continues to dry down and you get to those base notes, you really do smell a nice vanilla bean. Again, a little bit of sweetness with that vanilla bean, but not anything crazy. It kind of reminds me of, if you've ever tried the Breyer's vanilla bean ice cream, if you've ever smelled that, like I feel like this vanilla bean that's in here smells exactly like the Breyer's vanilla bean ice cream. And the whiskey accord, okay. There is just this tiny, slight little bit of a booziness. It's not overwhelming and it's not aggressive. I think it just adds like a little something maybe more sophisticated to the fragrance. I like it. And I also am thankful that it's not crazy boozy. Again, in either personal fragrance or in home fragrance, I have had candles in the past that have had whiskey in them, if you will. And it was just really kind of aggressive, but it's not here. It's like they took all of these notes that are usually quite potent and powerful, and they somehow managed to like tone them down in a way that just makes them so much more enjoyable. There is a little bit of a musky vibe to this scent, but not so musky that it doesn't smell like a gourmand anymore. It's just a sweet muskiness and it's light. And again, I think it just helps to add a little bit of balance to the fragrance so that it doesn't go down the cloying route, which it very easily could, obviously, given the type of scent that it is and what the, you know, the initial notes are within the fragrance. Overall, this particular scent is so lovely. This is caramel done right, you guys. If you are normally scared of caramel, or if you tend to be picky about it, I think this is worth checking out. I would say if the whiskey note turns you off, I will say it is present, but it's not super aggressive. So if there are any notes in this one that normally you'd be like about, I think it might still be worth considering, even if you're a little bit iffy, because like I said, I was, and this turned out to be a really beautiful scent for me. So in terms of the fragrance itself, I wish I had more thumbs to give it more thumbs up. It is absolutely beautiful, you guys. Let's finish up quickly with the overall projection and lasting power of this one. Super impressed with that as well. This is definitely a very noticeable fragrance. This doesn't scream subtlety, but it's also not crazy aggressive. This is not the type of scent that's necessarily going to enter the room before you do, but I do think it's probably going to be a pretty universally liked gourmand. Like I said, it presents itself as being sweet, but not overly sweet. It has some really unique aspects to it that definitely makes it very noticeable, but it's not ever going to just, you know, smack someone in the face. I mean, unless you use a crazy heavy hand. These are quite potent fragrances. You don't need to overdo it. And in terms of the lasting power, this is, again, one of the things that I think Zimaya really excels at. They have such good lasting power to all of their fragrances. The Tiramisu Caramel is no exception. I get an easy 7 to 8 hours of wear out of this one. I decided to wear this one to work several days last week. We had a few events that we were doing, and each day that I wore this was at least an 8-hour workday for me. And I applied in the morning before leaving the house, and on my drive home from work, I was still smelling this fragrance, especially while we were moving all of our orders into the different venues that we were delivering to, and my body heat was kind of ramping up a little bit. It almost like activated the fragrance again and just gave me this little puff of like delicious motivation because it just smells so good, you guys. Honestly, if you are a fan of caramel, and even if you are nervous about caramel, if this one appeals to you even in the slightest, I think it's worth considering. Again, I'll have it linked at the top of the description box. You can use my discount code to save yourself a little bit of money, but it is under 50 bucks to start with. So anyway, I hope that this review was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I do have one other fragrance that I also got at the same time, and I'll be reviewing that one probably next week. I also got the Awatif. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But again, look at the packaging here. It's just so beautiful. Let me get this lid off of here. Look at that, it sits in a little flower. This is so cute. I love it, I love it. Listen, I'm a sucker for this stuff. And I just think they have incredible packaging. So again, thank you so much for being here. If you found this review helpful, give it a big fat thumbs up, share it with your friends. Please subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.